Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our last webinar for the day for National Apprenticeship Week. I'm your host, Andy, with CareerMap TV, and it's my pleasure to introduce the team from Tarmac, who will be running through what they have on offer, an apprenticeship to early careers perspective. We hear about the programs they have on offer, their recruitment process, hints and tips. We'll also get the inside track from current apprentices who will share their experiences with us. There'll be Q&A at the end of the webinar, so feel free to leave any questions in the Q&A and the chat box, and we'll come back to them at the end of the seminar. So, without further ado, I'll hand over to Tarmac to commence with their session.
Thank you very much indeed, and good evening, everybody. My name is Darren. I am Early Careers Manager at Tarmac. There we go. You have a slide in front of you, holding slide. So for the next hour, we're going to talk about from rocks to road and so much more. You might think of us as an organisation that just does road surfacing, and there is a huge amount of opportunities, both operationally, out in the field, out at sites, but also commercial roles as well. So we're delighted to be part of this series of activities taking place during National Apprenticeship Week. And the agenda that we're going to go through this afternoon includes a little bit more about us. I'm going to show you a video shortly. I'm going to cover off what our 2023 programs look like. And included in there are some details about the academic criteria that we have as well, as I'm sure you're all aware that certain levels of apprenticeships have different academic benchmarks in which you're able to pursue. We're going to, the main sort of part of the evening, and what you're really interested in, I'm sure, is hearing more from our people. So we have a number of apprentices that are going to be sharing their experiences to date. Those individuals are completing what's called a level 3 apprenticeship, which is A-level equivalent, a level 4 apprenticeship, which is foundation degree level, and then level 5, which is more gearing towards the sort of undergraduate degree. We'll talk about selection for a short while, provide some hints and tips. There is a chat facility that you've got available as well, where you can include some questions, and we'll sort of get back to you providing answers. And included in there as well, we'll also include some links to YouTube channels and to the website as well, where you can find out a lot more after this session takes place. So we'll be done by 6 p.m. So to start off with, we're going to show you a bit of an intro into who we are and what we do, to give you a sense of the scale of organisation that we are. So let's sort of find out a little bit more about us. So if we could play the video, that would be great.
The UK's largest supplier of construction materials. We make the products that can be found all around you, from the pavement you walk on, to schools, hospitals and homes that you live in, and the roads and railways we travel on. We've worked on some iconic projects too. Wembley Stadium, home of the Three Lions; Silverstone, the scene of Lewis Hamilton's famous British Grand Prix victories; Heathrow, the UK's busiest airport, helping over 80 million travellers take to the skies. We even supplied the diving boards for Tom Daley's Olympic medal-winning dive at the London Olympics in 2012. Tarmac manage over 100,000 acres of land in the UK, which is about the same as 57,000 football pitches. This land includes the quarries we work in to extract our raw materials, the manufacturing sites where we make our products, and old operations we have turned into award-winning nature reserves. Our land provides a home for thousands of different plants and animals. We're also creating new, exciting products that can be used to build the sustainable cities of the future. Low-temperature asphalt, helping to reduce the carbon footprint of road materials. Permeable concrete, helping to prevent flooding, capture and recycle rainwater. Rubber-modified asphalt, using rubber from old tyres to improve the performance and lifespan of road surfaces. And even footpaths that glow at night, reducing the need for street lighting. We have over 8,000 people working together to achieve our ambitions. Graphic designers, creating marketing materials to showcase our brand. Technical managers, designing and testing the low-carbon building and highway solutions for the nation's infrastructure needs. Site managers, looking after our quarries that supply vital resources to build our cities. Accountants and commercial managers, to make sure we've got our numbers right. Lawyers, providing legal expertise. Restoration teams, converting our old operations into high-quality wildlife habitat. Sustainability professionals, helping the business reduce its carbon dioxide emissions. Training managers, providing skills to our employees at the UK's first and industry-leading safety park. Engineers, developing the smart, low-carbon manufacturing processes of the future. Young people, graduates and apprentices, the future leaders of our business. Together we provide solutions that help make the development of sustainable communities possible. Together we turn the tide on climate change and reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. Together we are building back better, using innovative new materials to create greener infrastructure. Together we ensure our woods and wetlands continue to flourish and grow, creating a lasting legacy for generations to come. You can be part of this journey. Can you help us to build our future?
There we go. So there's a short intro into more about us, provides an overview, the kind of scale of organisation. And Tarmac are part of an organisation called CRH, who are the world's leading building materials business. So you can see the kind of scale there that we're talking about, with over 73,000 people globally within CRH, over 3,000 locations as well. So within the UK and Tarmac, as per the video, 7,500 to 8,000 individuals. And on that left-hand side, you could see the sort of operationally, the scale of business and size of business that we have, from the number of locations where we have quarries nationwide, from Scotland, southeast, southwest in Wales, through to the sort of how logistics, which we'll hear more about later. So how do we move our products around the country to be able to get to those infrastructure projects that are being built, through to the sort of number of marine wharfs that we have as well. So we're able to sort of move materials by sea as well. Sustainability is what you heard about more about in the video. So if you think of that, improving the environment and the social and economic performance of a business is hugely important. And there's some numbers there in front of you that you can see in terms of how we're looking to reduce our carbon footprint over the next few years and the targets that we have. So there's different ways in which we'll sort of look to meet those targets, and we have specialists across the business working in different operational areas to ensure that we do sort of meet those targets going forward. And these provide opportunities long term for you guys as well that are looking for apprenticeships where you can learn more about sustainability through the work that you do. From a learning perspective, we've had over 2,000 people that have completed training at our safety park. So that was included in the video as well. And from how we look after our employees, you'll see on the bottom right-hand corner there's reference to inclusion and diversity. So we have communities across the wellbeing communities across the business that enable people to get together from whatever background that you are from, and to be able to educate us all so that we can all work collaboratively with that sort of goal in mind, and doing what we do best and produce those materials for infrastructure projects across the UK. So apprentices come into that heavily, as do all early careers opportunities that we have. But it's the people that really sort of make us as a business who we are. The safety park there as well, in terms of the specialist facility where we have our delivery of our own apprenticeship programs as well. So we are an education provider for a certain number of routes that we have within the business, which is absolutely fantastic. So whilst there are a lot of apprentices will go to colleges, then we do have that capability as an organisation to put people through training at our own facilities as well. And for those individuals that are pursuing what we would sort of call operational apprenticeships, so level 2 and level 3, then there is a professional sort of operative development program that takes place, and that is an apprenticeship standard, and we deliver that. So that is brilliant for us to be able to have. In the video as well, we heard about sort of land, and sort of we are a big landowner within the UK, and sort of turning those quarries into sort of regenerating those into natural habitats that can be enjoyed by communities. And then finally, within the sort of communities and work that we do within communities is hugely important to be able to build those stronger relationships where there are either projects of social value, we would call it, where there are projects taking place that we're involved in. Now, you're all on here, I think, to sort of find out more about those apprenticeship programs that we have for this year. And those opportunities are open at the moment. These roles that you can see in front of you are a selection from 2022 and the cohorts that we have. But my colleague Tom, I think, has been including details on the chat with the link to our website. So if you've not seen these to date, then you can have a look at those. But we do have opportunities nationwide. So the more I say what people may consider us to have at the outset, the traditional apprenticeship routes into the likes of road surfacing or highways maintenance as well. We do have those opportunities in various locations across the country, and the equivalent qualification that you're going to come out of if you complete that route is equivalent to 5 GCSEs. So there is flexibility on what you have already in terms of qualification, and details of those are included on the job specs on the website. There is flexibility with some of those apprenticeship programs to, if you might not have got level 4 in GCSE maths or English, there is some flexibility and we can support you. The level 3 apprenticeship, so this is where you're sort of going down a route which is going to take you to A-level equivalent. And as you can see on the left-hand side there, they're more sort of geared towards that kind of engineering, sort of introduction to engineering at level 3. Those apprenticeships, we run what's called the maintenance and operations engineering technician apprenticeships for a lot of those fitter roles. And those, again, are nationwide. And they will take place at colleges based located close to where the role is going to be based. So if you are going to be based in the southeast, then we're likely to sort of find a college in that particular area that enables you to balance the going to college and then also completing your on-the-job training at the base location that you have. With the level 2 apprenticeships, with the road surfacing and the highways maintenance, then it could be block release for 1 week at a time. But the main point is that everybody, if they're going to college, is supported on being able to get there. And, you know, you have your line managers that will be supporting you all the way through your apprenticeship, through your learning. On to level 4s, 5 and 6, then this is where we're going up to full degree apprenticeships, and we do have some opportunities at that level. Again, I'm not going to go through every single role because we have around 55 different apprenticeship opportunities available for 2023. There are opportunities in each region. So the regions that I would refer to are London and the South East, South West and Wales. We have the Midlands, we have the North and Scotland as well. Okay, but we do have our operations management apprenticeship, which you're going to hear more from one of our hosts in a moment. That is based, I suppose, on site, but also University of Derby, and that's level 5. And we have that mixture of commercial opportunities, but also those that are going to give people a really great sort of foundation and introduction to the operational world at our sites as well, and getting that technical knowledge. So be it in operations, be it in supervisors from a contracting perspective, and also to sort of technical level 6. We've also got quantity surveyors apprenticeships as well in the South East and the North. So do have a look at those, okay? Now, what will you get out of a job with Tarmac? So you should think about your apprenticeship that it's long term, right? It is an option, an alternative for going to university for some of you potentially, but you're going to be working for a relatively long time, right? So don't just think about the salary at the start. Think about the longevity and what you're going to go on to. And that's really important when you have a conversation, when you get to interview stage, which we'll sort of go into detail a little bit later. But some roles, even apprenticeship roles, has sorry, I just got disturbed there by something that came on my screen. Some of our roles do include company cars, especially for graduates, okay? So not all apprentices we know that will drive, but do look at the job specs on the location. Do look at whether you can commute to the locations, but some of our roles based on health and safety as well will require driving license, and all the details are included in the information that we include in our job specifications. But there are those reward schemes, there are sort of tech schemes, there are bonuses that you're eligible from day one, from when you're joining. So lots of support mechanisms at the bottom as well. I spoke about the communities, the wellbeing communities that we have at Tarmac. And there are employee assistance programs as well, should you need that support. And then you'll see there in front of you on the bottom right, something called core skills programs. So our level 2s and level 3s will sort of complete that learning through the professional operatives development program. Our level 4, 5 and 6, the higher apprentices, will complete core skills. But you are getting industry qualifications. So if you're somebody that's maybe doing A-level equivalent at the moment, or even GCSEs, 2 or 3 years time, you're going to come off that apprenticeship program and you're going to be going into a substantive post, and you will see a significant uplift in that kind of core salary that you're earning. Okay, so if you look at it that way, with all the support that you're going to get from day one, you have to, of course, put the effort in. We get that, and hopefully you do as well. But with the support of people, with their introduction to sort of building up that technical knowledge, you're going to set yourself on the path in an industry that, certainly the longevity of our industry is there. So, people. So this is the exciting bit where I hand over to current apprentices who can share their experiences of what life at Tarmac has been like for them to date. And first up, we have Mustafa. So, hi, Mustafa, over to you.
Thanks for that, Darren. Hi, all. I just a little proud to be me slide. I really love sports. I'm really big into my F1, rugby, and football. I don't know if any of you guys watch it, but big United fan. I also love traveling around the country, different places in the world as well, to try food. It's interesting to try different cultures and their cuisines. Also, I think the main point while proud to work for Tarmac is having the opportunity for organization as a culture of innovation. As you've seen in some of the videos, we're currently innovating new projects and improving our sustainability, and it also allows me to be something bigger than myself. This is just a bit why I chose the apprenticeship route and Tarmac. Definitely when choosing apprenticeships, I wasn't in A-levels, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, but going through previous education, I definitely picked subjects such as design and technology, which would allow me to use my hands and make prototypes, which is something I've always figured about myself, that I'm a more hands-on person. So definitely when looking at university, I realized there's a lot of independent learning and really just all about contextual situations. And then definitely why the apprenticeship route, I think when looking at opportunities I would have compared to university, the apprenticeship, especially at Tarmac, there's so many different pathways and careers you can gain within Tarmac. I think definitely the deciding factor of why I picked it. And another reason why I think some of you guys might be in the same situation as I was in last summer is just not knowing what subject to study. Going to university is quite a big deal, and obviously you don't really want to waste the time and money to go to do a subject that you're not too sure about. And definitely leading up to after the A-levels, leading up to August time, I still wasn't unsure about what subject I really wanted to pick. So I thought, instead of maybe wasting my time going to university and not liking it, let's research about apprenticeships, which I think was the biggest, I think is the most valuable thing I've ever did, because here I am and I've loved it so far. And then when looking about applying for apprenticeships, I had definitely quite a few offers, which I was thankfully had. And when I looked deeper into each offer, there was like a divide between them, such as companies as EY, RSM, Centurion, and on the Royal Navy working on the nuclear submarines. It was definitely a split between working at a desk and kind of working hands-on and having a nice hybrid. And I think the main factor that definitely made me pick Tarmac was when I came to the quarry site at Mount Sorrel in Leicestershire, having that opportunity to see the site. And for me personally, I had no previous experience in construction or anything to do with the quarrying industry, and it was all new to me. And having that walkthrough to show that what really goes on was very useful for myself, because there's not really much stuff online that can teach you or kind of tell you what a quarry is like. And while working here, seeing the people, seeing the machinery, and like the new projects that we're working on, I definitely decided that this company, Tarmac, was a company for me, and the people here are lovely. And definitely reflecting on the industries that I could have gone into, I definitely picked the hands-on role. And I don't know how much of you guys here, or maybe hands-on, or maybe if you guys are office-based, it's definitely something to consider, because obviously at Tarmac we have many different opportunities. And let me just carry on further about what I kind of do in an operations management role. So as an operations management role, it's kind of different, and I've only been a short time in it, so I might not have the best experience, but definitely one thing I love about it is that every day is a new day. It presents its new challenges and problems. It's heavily dependent on machinery. There's always bound something to go wrong. So we're always dealing with different situations. What contingency plans do we have in place? So I would say every day is a different day. That's why I love it. It's never stagnant in that sense. And right now I'm on the 8th month placement to the quarry team, which consists of learning the fundamentals such as blasting, fixed plant, mobile plants, and which further develop my skills and knowledges in the industry. Right now, you might not understand what that means, but definitely if you research more about it, you would understand. And additionally, as Darren said, I'm studying at Derby University, which allows me to learn certain foundations of the quarrying industries that I can apply to contextual situations that we have around site. And 3 things, if I have to say, that I've definitely improved on is confidence. Definitely when joining quarrying industry and just Tarmac, I was quite nervous I don't really know what to say. And when people ask my opinion, I was like, it's very, very full on. And depending with the guys, some guys here being here for 40 years, they like know everything. So it can be quite nerve wracking to comment, but definitely since I've been here for 6 months, my confidence has definitely been boosted. And responsibility for when I first joined, obviously it's depending what role you pick, but the quarry I work in, we have lots of hazards. So as I start through 8 months I've been here, I definitely see my responsibility being given a lot more responsibility, and which is very important. It allows me to help manage my time and different things around the day, and learning constantly. You'll always be learning. There'll never be in a day that you don't learn. And some of the supervisors here tell me that they've been here for 10 years and they're still learning on the job. And I think it's one of the things that you just continuously do, because everything changes, and especially now the place we're in, we're just continually changing. So learning is a big factor and something that you'll learn about if you join Tarmac.
Thanks ever so much, Mustafa, for sharing your experiences. Not sure who you've got on there.
It's me.
Is that yourself, Assad? Is it?
That's me. That's right.
Okay. Thank you, Mustafa. Assad, over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Mustafa. Hi, everyone. I'm Assad Ahmed, and I am the level 4 apprentice data analyst. So I've joined Tarmac similar time to Mustafa. So it's been my 6 months in, around about 6 months in to the program. This slide is a proud to be me slide, and I am proud to be a first class student in accountancy and finance, studied at Birmingham City University. Yes, you might be thinking I'm going to be much different to other apprentices, but you'll hear my side of the story in the next 5 minutes or so. Also, I like to play football in my spare time, Power League goals around the Birmingham area every Wednesday. If you do see me in Power League, please do please pull me over and we can discuss future aspirations. And also during the summer, I have climbed Mount Snowdon, which I'm proud to be part of that journey. So amazing scenery throughout Mount Snowdon. So do go with family, loved ones, and relatives. So yes, as a graduate achieving accountancy and finance, finance was my preferred option as I studied finance, and I went through the traditional route of going through a school, college, past my college, and then going into university. But one thing I must say, once I finished my university is that experience which I lacked on, and I always wanted to be part of a program of some sort within a corporate organization. And once I finished my studies, I went on to accounting jobs in the local authority as well as private firms, but it wasn't sufficient enough for me, and I always wanted to achieve the goal in going into a program. And Tarmac had that opportunity, and it was the vehicle that was there for me to allow me to achieve the goal to be part of a program where I'll be able to gain exposure to a company as well as achieving a qualification alongside. So the best of both worlds, should I say. Why did I choose Tarmac? Tarmac is a huge organization, as you've seen in the video played earlier on. There's huge amount of opportunities available. I'm part of the national logistic team, so I'll be working up and down the country, helping, supporting our regional managers and seniors across the board. But Tarmac, from the very beginning, I must say, has a lot to offer. And with that being said, there's also qualification that can be achieved where you can go into programs like the apprenticeship programs and data analysts. You got the operational resourcing, whichever programs you guys feel comfortable in, you add value by achieving the qualifications whilst on the program. My highlight so far in the program, although it's 6 months in, I've learned a lot. That's one thing, and I'm sure enthusiastic students like yourself, you're willing to learn. And this opportunity at Tarmac with these apprenticeship programs, there's no better place to be. I've been in site visits in plants and quarries, Washwood plant, which is not far from me, thankfully, and also Alvarez quarry, which is in Burton. Being able to see the products, the trucks getting loaded, going to jobs, seeing what materials are available, having that safe tour around the Tarmac sites. And as I'm only 6 months in, there's also future plans going across the region, where I'll be going to London in a few weeks' time in the Kent quarry. I'm looking forward to seeing a blast, as Mustafa said. So there's always opportunities there to see the hard work that is put in the teams within each site. And then I'll be going back to the office and seeing how we're utilizing our products. But yeah, there's so much to learn, and all the best, guys. Thank you.
That's great, Asad. Thank you very much indeed. And next, we're going to move on to Evie. So over to you.
Thanks, Darren. I've got the difficult job of following Asad and Mustafa now after you've heard all of the exciting things that they've been up to in the last 6 months. So just to start about me, I love spending time with my family. I'm very close with them, and you'll see my little miniature sausage dog in the photos. But spending time with my family is the most important thing to me. So we try and get on holiday as much as we can and explore new places, and that's one of my favourite things to do. I also completed my A-levels during COVID, which was a struggle, and I'm sure most of you can relate to that. And I also overcame my struggle with anxiety, which is something that I'm very proud of. I also love books. I run a book club where I encourage other people to read too, and we've built a really lovely community where we all discuss our current reads. And then finally, I'm so happy that now I decided to not go to university and join this wonderful team at Tarmac, and now I get to help other people find their dream job too. So a little bit into my journey so far. I spent the summer in between completing my GCSEs, my A-levels, doing some work experience in HR, legal and IT, which gave me a really good broad understanding of what I enjoyed and what I wanted to get out of work. I then went on to complete my A-levels and I studied English language, biology and geography. So that definitely kept me busy, especially having to teach myself a large part of that because of COVID. I then, when it came to applying to universities, my school really pushed people to go to universities and didn't really give us the option or give us too much information on going to apprenticeships and things like that. And so I applied for a few universities and got offers from Keele and the University of Gloucester to study geography. But I decided at that time it wasn't the best decision for me. Moving home and moving away from all of my family really scared me, if I'm honest. So I decided that university wasn't the best thing for me. And then I decided to go on a gap year. And in that time, a few organisations such as EY reached out to me via LinkedIn, and this was the first thing that really opened my eyes to apprenticeships. And after that, I decided to do some more research into other companies. I knew someone who worked for Tarmac and they had only ever said really, really positive things about the company. And so when I found the advert for the HR apprentice, I decided to just go for it. I had a lot of people, when they apply for a new job, they never think that they're going to get anywhere with it. So I was really nervous, but so excited when my now colleague Tom gave me a call to invite me for my interview. And now 1 year on and 4 months, I'm now in my apprenticeship and loving it. So why Tarmac? I'll start with the obvious point. I'm paid to learn and gain a huge amount of experience that a lot of people my age just don't have yet. So that's obviously a massive, massive benefit. I'm proud to be part of an organisation that has such a positive culture where we have such a focus on always doing the right thing. And that's such a really nice feeling to have, to be part of something bigger and knowing that we all strive to do the best thing. It's great to be able to, although I'm not on the operational side of the business, it's great to be able to see the contribution I'm making to the business, and everything around us, Tarmac has played a part into creating. So it's quite a rewarding job in the sense that you can see what your work is going towards. Tarmac has so many opportunities to explore, and I've recently just finished a placement with another HR team, and so Tarmac's always allowing you to try new things, and if you're interested in something, all you have to do is ask, and most of the time it will be yes if it's going to help your development. And then finally, and the most important thing, Tarmac is filled with the most wonderful supporting people, and going from my experience, everyone in my team, the wider business, has been so supportive and will really do everything that they can to help you out. So then to go into my highlights so far, I'm in my final stage of completing my professional qualification, which is a CIPD. So I'm approaching my endpoint assessment now, so I'm almost qualified, which is a great feeling to have. I'm participating in our core skills development programme, so this is something that Darren has touched on earlier on and we'll go on to talk a bit more about later on in the call. But this is a programme that Tarmac runs itself in the learning and development team. So this is a programme that's designed to help hire apprentices and graduates learn more soft skills and really network with other people in the same position as them. I've already helped our 2023 early careers cohort find their dream job, as well as many other experienced hires throughout the business, and that's a really, really rewarding feeling to have. I'm able to help inspire young people by going into schools and doing workshops at universities, and also going to careers fairs to help promote our business and our roles that we have to offer. Having the opportunity to travel across the UK to meet many of our sites and many of our employees is great. It really gets you out and you're able to see exactly what goes on and learn all the processes that's involved. And then finally, I've been able to create such a strong network of people across the business and within in the industry. So I've really been able to get such a lot out of my time so far, and I'm only just over halfway through my apprenticeship. So there's lots and lots of things that will be coming on my way.
That's great, Evie. Thank you ever so much indeed. Really, really insightful, and lovely to sort of hear your experiences. So we're going to touch on that sort of core skills program for a moment. So development is a big part of your apprenticeship, along with the main college learning that you'll complete. If it's a college, it's a university, it might be face-to-face, it might be online. Each provider will have their own kind of rhythm of how that learning is delivered. But in addition to that, we do offer the kind of core skills development program. So for those that are joining us on the level 4 upwards, then there's 2 years of modules that are spread out, as you can see, across kind of once a quarter, help embed you into the business, first of all, get up and running with your learning. And then once you're kind of into sort of month 5 or 6, you then start to get together with your cohorts and completing a number of different modules that are going to really help you post-program when you go into those substantive posts. Now, for those individuals that I mentioned who are completing level 3 or level 2, then there are different programs which still sort of cover that same type of learning that's going to enable you to flourish once you've successfully completed that apprenticeship program. And those take place at our safety park, and that is the standard that we complete, which is the operational sort of development program that's on offer. So if you've been inspired this evening by and want to find out more, doing your research is massively important, whether you're watching this live now or whether you're going to be watching this recorded afterwards. Once you've identified the role that suits you, location, learning, qualification, what your interests are is massively important. Once you've identified that role that's right for you, and then sort of the selection sort of process, as it were. So Tom, my colleague, has been sharing the links this evening where you can do that passive research. We've got YouTube channels where you can find out more what our people's experiences are from different parts of the business. There's lots and lots of content on there through social channels as well. Once you've identified that opportunity, then that journey that you will go through is you will complete an online application. There's some guidance videos that are coming out later this week, as part of National Apprenticeship Week. And then you'll sort of, what you'll do this year is, rather than complete a video interview, which is just, here's a question, record it, submit it. What we've found so far from what we've done with our graduate candidates is be able to speak to individuals over an MS Teams call to really understand that drive and interest that you have, so we can explore that in more detail on a one-to-one basis. So that will provide us with a lot more rich evidence and identifying the right opportunity, or if this is the right opportunity for you, for us to be able to say, well, okay, that's great. You know, you meet the criteria, you've explained your reasons why you're applying, and the questions in the application form do cover the kind of, well, why Tarmac? Why are you pursuing this particular program? We would like you to sort of share something about you that, you know, the guys have been speaking about, proud to be me. We'd love you to share more details of your greatest achievement so far in your sort of short lives, or maybe not so short. The apprenticeship world is changing, so we're getting people from different age groups that will apply. But then it's kind of the really important thing about an apprenticeship program is you're going to be developing, and therefore that development that's on offer it's really important to be able to reflect on what you'll need. And there's nothing wrong with kind of explaining that in a little bit more detail in part of that application. So think of what the apprenticeship program is that you're pursuing offers. Think of what it is that you'll need to be successful. It might be the support, it might be the mentoring, it might be developing those technical skills, but we're looking for developing the technical experts of the future. We're not expecting the technical experts to be there on day one. You know, you do the research, you do that little bit of homework, and then you can explore and decide which option, what preferences you have for pursuing a program. We'll then invite you to an assessment day or interview day at site. Now, the reason why we will be inviting candidates to site is because from an apprenticeship world perspective, then it's more than likely that you're going to be living that little bit closer to that location, because of the environment that a lot of our apprenticeship roles will be in. We think it's important that you get to see that, because some people will really, really flourish when they see that, and others might be a little bit more nervous. And it's important that we can provide the support and reassurance to sort of demonstrate to you that this route that you're sort of pursuing is the right one. So meeting our people is a great opportunity. Going to our sites is a great opportunity. And there'll be a short exercise that you will do and an interview. And what we'll be doing in the run up to those interviews is providing guidance. So there's guidance sessions before you go along, providing those hints and tips. And later on during the campaign, we'll sort of be running sessions for parents as well, because it's really, really important that we have conversations with individuals that are considering options for their sort of son, daughter, etc. Okay. And then our apprentices this year will start on the 31st of August. In between, during the summer months, there'll be pre-joiners events. So from a timeline perspective, then we are looking at mid-March for opportunities to close. We are looking, therefore, by the end of April to interview candidates. We know that there's exams coming up. We know that Easter's in the middle. There's that balance of maybe employees being on annual leave but vacation periods that you have as well. So being able to identify dates that are going to suit both parties the best that we can. And then during the summer months, you'll be doing exams potentially, and we'll sort of have joiners activities as well before joining at the end of August. So I've mentioned that actually already, haven't I? So there is that sort of careers conversation that we're calling it, that you would have at that second stage. And it is really about the why. We're not repeating the application questions that you've completed and submitted, but it is learning that little bit more about you and what your interests are and why you're pursuing this particular opportunity. There will be some online assessments for some of our programs, and that will be before those interview days. And that's just to explore preferences and styles of working, and that evidence can be used for future development once you're in the business. So it's not a test that's a black and white, right or wrong, but we do want you to kind of inform us of those preferences and styles of working and what you would do when you're facing a particular scenario. And that's additional evidence that we can use at the interview. The team activity and group exercise there that you can ignore. That is for graduates only. So if there is anybody on this line that is considering graduate roles, then that is the assessment there. So what we do look for, I'm not sure if you can see this, so I'm going to go through it. We don't expect you, and any employer is exactly the same, right? They're not going to expect you to know everything. It's an apprenticeship program. The development of you as an individual is what you'll get through the on-the-job learning and the learning that you'll get at the college. That's fine. So, for me, when it comes to interviews, I think when it comes to even application forms, if you've got the opportunity to be expressive and share the why, do it. At interview, we'll provide the guidance and give you that little bit of a pat on the back to get to that stage and give you the confidence to be able to go to that interview online or face-to-face and to be the best that you possibly can be, because you've got this far. So it's our role as an early careers team to help you along the way during this journey. We get that it's tough. It might be the first job that you've ever been for. been or interview that you've ever been to, right? But what we do expect and what we would like to see is for you to demonstrate that drive, to demonstrate and showcase why, to tell us why you're pursuing the route. And there is that little bit of research that can really sort of go a long way. That willingness to learn, again, it's an apprenticeship route. Evie's spoken about her sort of working towards or coming towards the end of that learning period where she's completing professional qualification. That's, demonstrating that willingness to learn and evidence of doing so. You all have evidence of doing that through your school or through your college. There might be something you've learned new that's outside of academia that you're really proud of, but demonstrating that willingness to learn is really important. Having that drive and can-do attitude is really, really important as well. We want to be able to see that, and the agility piece underneath there as well. If you think that we sort of work in a time where we have to be adaptable, we all have to be adaptable in the workplace, and we can provide that support to you throughout that journey. But it's got to be that contract is kind of, well, we can provide X, and you're also going to sort of support that and provide Y. And if you have that mindset, I don't know everything. I don't know everything. I've been at Tarmac for 11 months. I know it's not in the same kind of context, but there's, excuse the pun here for our campaign, but there is so much more to Tarmac than meets the eye. And it is a learning journey that you are all going to go on. Okay. So, but that agility and being adaptable with what's required within the workplace is hugely important. And we are a commercial organisation. We do have the customers, but we also work collaboratively, as you might have gathered from, what's been shared with you this evening. So having that ability to build and develop relationships with people internally and colleagues is hugely important. Now, you might be at a stage in your young lives where outside of school, that just you haven't really had the opportunity to do that. We've also had, COVID, and there's been over the last few years that break in study or break in personal development opportunities. So we get that, but you will sort of go on and you will sort of build relationships once you're on program. But think about where you have done that yourself in your sort of short lives to date. So that's a big part of the framework that you would complete once you're on program and developing both in the job, on the job learning, and from a college perspective as well. These are all the things that we would expect from any early careers joiner. Okay, so just to finish off, we're going to sort of show you one more video, which just is a number of people explaining to you about their experiences to date at Tarmac. So if I could ask the team at Career Map, so thank you very much.
When I found out I got the job, I was happy. I didn't overreact or nothing. It was just a job. But when I got here, I realised it wasn't just a job. It was so much more than that. There's a culture, a family, a sense of pride in the job we do. To be a part of a team that is literally helping to build the future of this country is special. Amaya, what are you saying?
I didn't know much about Tarmac. I thought it might have been a bit old school. It's actually full of straightforward, down-to-earth people. I've made a great network of mates here. We work hard, but play hard.
As a project manager, I was trusted to lead the development of our industry-leading, state-of-the-art training facility. A huge responsibility. I love how one day I'm in PPE engaging with the teams on site, and the next day I'm in the boardroom engaging with business leaders. You learn something new every day. Tarmac enables you to bring your vision to life and make a real impact.
When I left uni, all I wanted to be was financially independent. I never thought that within 2 years of leaving, I'd be in the position of buying and renovating my first home. Going on to the grad scheme at Tarmac meant that I could get that house, along with loads of other benefits that have helped me along the way.
Since starting at Tarmac, I've had several roles within the business, and now 5 years on, I manage the only powders manufacturing facility within Tarmac. The role I have now is a massive responsibility, and I value the trust I have from the business at such an early stage in my career.
Growing a family can be emotionally challenging. Tarmac's maternity policy and support for young parents has been a huge bonus to help me let go of the comfort of my job and take time to build amazing memories with my family.
Throughout lockdown, finding a job was really hard. Thanks to Tarmac, I finally got a job that I feel really passionate about.
When I first started at Tarmac, I was nervous, thinking I'd be the only woman on site. And to be honest, most of the times I am. But the guys that I work with day to day make me feel really supported and included on site. And I know that there's a wider network of women that I can always turn to if I need to.
When I told my mum that I was going to work in construction, she was a bit worried about my safety. But it's all geared up to be as safe a place as possible, and that culture is set right from the top.
This place, the people, the ambition. Yes, it's just a job, but it's so much more than that.
I hope you enjoyed that last video that we were showing you this evening. Now, I have seen some questions come through. Just looking at the chat there, we've had a question about opportunities in project management. I think I know, Ruth, the standard that you're referring to as well. So that's the level 4 project management apprenticeship. We don't have that this year. I think that we've got the operations management apprenticeship, which is what Mustafa is on. We also have QS at a degree apprenticeship level. We have the trainee supervisor as well. There's going to be elements of managing projects in all of those. So it depends whether you specifically want to go down the APM qualification route, but then there is sort of every chance that depending on what you're doing, that could be an option further down the line if your role post-program goes into specifically project management. Lucy's asked about HGV. We did have a couple of opportunities, Lucy. I'm not sure where you're based, but we did have a couple of opportunities in this space last year for those sort of tanker driver apprenticeships, but we don't this year. But I would keep an eye on if you can register on the website so that you can be part of that sort of talent pool where we can keep you updated. So that's I know that Tom has been busy sort of answering your questions and has been sharing video links as well. So with that, I suppose with that in mind, I hope that you've all enjoyed the last 55 minutes. We've
still got a few questions in the Q&A box. If you don't mind, we'll go through them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, I thought Tom had answered them all. Anything in particular that jump out?
There's some here. Well, Mohammed's talking about how there are no vacancies in his area, which he finds concerning to do an apprenticeship with Tarmac, but obviously he'll have to relocate.
Okay. From I suppose, is this Mohammed who lives in Nottingham?
I believe so, yeah.
So we do have, I suppose, south of Nottingham, sort of Loughborough way, Mohammed, that's where Mount Sorrel is, not too far away from there. So not a million miles away from Nottingham. So what I would do is kind of look at the vacancies, we do include in the application form a question to ask, to encourage people to think about, is it commutable from where I live? So there are opportunities in the East Midlands, and I would look at your postcode, look at where the postcode is of those opportunities, have a look to see whether you can make that work.
Mm-hmm. Great. Question from Remy here. It says, can you provide advice for someone who is interested in applying for a Tarmac apprenticeship but has no prior experience in the construction industry? Do you mind if I just put my own spin on that? Well, you can answer that one, but then for the apprentices as well, can I say how they got into Tarmac?
Absolutely. Let's put it out to the guys if anybody would like to sort of answer that question.
Yeah, I would definitely say I think I mentioned before, I never had any previous experience in construction industry. I don't think you need to. I think there's an understanding between Tarmac and yourself that you're an apprentice, and the whole point of joining this scheme is that you're going to build and develop into a competent person at the end of it. So don't be so worried about having experience. That the whole point of the apprenticeship program is to teach you the knowledge and skills to build you at the end of the apprenticeship program, that you will be a person with all the knowledge and experience that you need.
Well, what wanted you to go for an apprenticeship with Tarmac?
definitely like when researching about Tarmac opportunities and like being partnered with CRH, which is a global company, it was definitely a big factor knowing that further down the line, if I really did want to make the changeover, I could move into CRH and basically work in any division anywhere in the world. And definitely just like I really enjoy the people here and like the support that Tarmac offers and the opportunities compared to other companies.
Did you have a set goal when you sort of came into the company, or were you just sort of, yeah, the opportunities are going to come to me, we'll see where it goes?
Sorry, what was the question?
Well, did you have like a set goal for when you like started the apprenticeship, when you went into it, or did you sort of just go in, you knew that the opportunities were going to come your way and you just sort of worked up to them opportunities?
I think after first couple of weeks, I definitely decided like where I want to achieve, and I think still to this day, I'm still deciding on what I want. I think there's a lot of different pathways and course ways you can go into. So I do have some goals, just generally about general skills, but definitely where I want to achieve, I think I'm still developing those.
Yeah. What about the other guys?
Mustafa, do you think from or Evie, go on. You're on mute. I don't know. You're right.
That is so embarrassing. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
For me, my main objective was just getting stuck into everything I could possibly get my hands on. I came straight from school, so I had no experience really, and so it was more of looking for the opportunities and saying yes to as much as I possibly can, and just getting stuck into everything that I could anything that I could get involved into.
Great.
I think even from an early careers sort of professional perspective, I'd say that do the research. You're not expected to know everything. That's what we provide you, as I mentioned in the presentation. I think if there's that sort of demonstration, or if you're demonstrating that kind of drive to succeed and you have that passion and you're able to articulate that, then that alone can go a long way. It's kind of the evidence that you provide of maybe things that you have done to date. So it links into the sort of development framework that I sort of mentioned towards the end of the presentation there, that willingness to learn, the drive to succeed, being adaptable, demonstrating these things is evidence that with what we're looking for and as we sort of progress people through programs.
There's a good question here from Kim. Can you tell me more about the role of the technology in your daily work as an apprentice at Tarmac, and what do you think will be the biggest change to the industry in the future? Big question.
Where's that? Is that on the chat, is it?
That's in the Q&A.
Q&A only. Let's have a look. Okay.
Answer wisely.
The role of technology. So I would say if we bring in Asad from a technology and how, from a logistics perspective, technology is used, because if you think of all the materials that are moving around the country from different sites to different locations and projects. I know I've sat on one of those logistics sort of check-ins, Asad, where you can kind of, everything's moving around, isn't it? And it has to be done with cost in mind. So kind of technology does play its part to make sure that, we're sort of able to run our business efficiently and operationally at a cost which is going to sort of result in commercially the right, or commercially it's right for us. So, everything from how we transport materials from A to B, be it road or rail or even sea, then there's a cost implication from that. So technology plays its part to help us
definitely
help us to sort of do that and to make us as a business successful. What do I believe will be the bit? That is an absolute belter of a question, Kim. I'm not even going to sort of. I'm not even going to sort of what's the biggest. I think the biggest change to the industry. I think that there's sustainable sort of being more sustainable and alternative fuels for the production of materials that we do make is really important. So that innovation is going to be hugely important. Reducing CO2, If you look at the process of making, cement, then over a course of, a long time, it's relatively been the same kind of chemical process.
Yeah.
But so how do we do that in a way that is going to be more friendlier to the environment and to reduce that footprint? That is sort of, keep an eye on the sustainability reports and how we're meeting those targets. So that is a change for the better for the industry. I think also from a people perspective, if we look at the industry, then we are committed to providing equal opportunity for anybody, any background. Whereas maybe over traditionally the industry may be higher percentage of male operational colleagues, then we want to be able to sort of celebrate, women going into the construction industry, building materials industry, and doing those same roles. So, there is a place for everybody, and that's important as well. So with that inclusion in mind, there'd hopefully be a change in the future with regards to what that demographic looks like. So it's, that's for me though, as a recruiter.
Amazing.
Sorry, just to add on that question about IT and innovation, from the quarrying perspective, we're on Australia, we're definitely looking at self-driving dumper drivers and excavators. So removing the human aspect from the driving and then putting them elsewhere, so then we can rely on AI and self-driving dumper drive. I know in Australia they've already used it, and it's something that definitely in Tarmac in the UK we're definitely exploring more. So that's something that it will be a really interesting change within IT and AI.
Thank you, Mustafa. That's
Amazing
really helpful.
For the last question, we're going to kill two birds with one stone here. Kira and Sam, for our apprentices, they say, can you share any particular memorable or challenging projects you've worked on as an apprentice at Tarmac?
Lovely. So Evie is still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I think my most memorable experience is definitely our cohort from last year. So welcoming our apprentices and graduates was a very, very big task, and Darren, you'll be able to back me up on this. It's a very big project that everyone around the business will be familiar with. And it's not challenging. It's definitely more exciting than it is challenging, but it's definitely memorable, and it's a great feeling being able to see it from the other end.
I'll add to that, Evie, because I think you're playing your own sort of roll down a little bit there. If you think that, and this is for everybody on the call as well, the impact of our early careers cohort from 2022 and those that will be joining in 2023, but 2022 was our biggest ever. So the commitment that the business has placed on providing opportunity, and also the value that each and every individual that's joined, that you supported, Evie, get through into the business, that can't be underestimated. So the impact that our population of people that have come through the apprenticeship programs is huge. So, and Evie, you were a massive part of that.
Thanks, Darren.
Amazing. Any other apprentices want to share there?
I think something that we're currently working on is just a very, very big project that we're undertaking, is the commissioning of the new primary crusher we have here. So that will be a really, really interesting time. And not a lot of people in their career can say that they've commissioned one of the newest and biggest crushers in somewhat in the EU and part of Tarmac. So it'll be a really interesting 6 months while we commission it.
What's I had a chat, Mustafa, today with Tracy about Mount Sorrel, and one of the apprenticeship roles that we've got is slightly amended. What's the sort of role title of the person that sort of has the exciting job of the, let's say, extraction of materials from the ground by using explosives?
I'm not sure the apprenticeship, but I know it's called something of shot firer supervisor.
Shot firer. So I think that is going to be part of one of the apprenticeship roles that we've got at Mount Sorrel.
Okay.
So hugely exciting when that was explained to me. So being part of that right at the start of that sort of process that you're involved with as well, Mustafa, it will be very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, unfortunately, that is all we have time for. Going over a few minutes there, but we needed to. That was so insightful. Thank you very much to the Tarmac team for joining us, going through their offers, sharing their experiences, answering your questions as well. Hope you all found it insightful. Remember, it's recorded, so it'll be on our website within the week to go back if you missed anything, any queries. I'll refer to the team now if you want to do any final words of advice for our viewers.
I was just going to add, thank you for joining us this evening. If you're watching the recording, do that little bit of research. There's plenty of content out there where you can find out more snippets, admittedly, of what our people do. Have a look at those job specs. Think about what you enjoy doing. Don't worry the fact that you've not been in the industry before. We provide you with the technical skills and support. You've got to provide us with that, demonstrating that you've got that drive to succeed, and then you'll go far.
Amazing. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you. All the very best.